And that is pretty incredible. Honestly, I'm totally chuffed, and I never believed that my PC could be this quiet. And it's all thanks to a small upgrade that I've recently done, and that is to equip my AIO, which is an Arctic Freezer 3, with Thermalright TL-B12 fans, which you can see here. And there they are. And it is quite incredible. Like, the idle is quiet as when I'm gaming. And honestly, if you're in this room and you're using my gaming PC, you would not know whether a game is running in the background or not. The only time you would notice the difference is if I'm playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, where you can hear a very, very faint whoosh, but it's totally worth it. And if you have this AIO, I highly recommend these fans. Enjoy the video, which includes unboxing, installation, and some final thoughts. Watch what you like and skip what you don't feel is necessary for you. Thank you. Unboxing time. 1, 2, 3 fans, all in their glory, for £2 each. Like, these two is as much as a Starbucks coffee. And this would be as much as 1 hour parking. Insane. This is such good value, and I love eBay because brand new, I think these are closer to £17 or something. And it's my first time buying anything from Thermalright. Like, there's so many PC component brands now: Thermalright, Thermaltake, Deep Cool, Arctic Freezer. Like, there's a lot of these value ones, but it's the first time I've bought a Thermalright product, and really good impression, because the idea is that these are cheaper than Noctua fans, which cost a lot of money and a premium. But even when you're buying a value product, you still want to feel good about yourself. So it's nice that the packages is quite premium. And what I really love is that the specs are on the back. All the geeky specs are literally on the back. I think more brands should do this rather than you having to then go online, navigate to the website, and maybe perform like 6 or 7 clicks until you can download a PDF and then scroll down and see the specs. But no, they've put every single geeky metric right on the back. So big thumbs up, Thermalright. Please keep doing this. The packaging is intact. Sometimes on eBay the packaging might be damaged. So for example here, it's a little bit torn, but to me it is not a deal breaker at all. And we can see that here it's not been opened, completely unopened, and likewise here as well. I have just opened one of them to have like a quick look because I was so excited. I actually got this a couple of days ago. But yeah, I just want to show you the unboxing experience because the vibes are important. Like, you know, we're not just buying PC components for performance, but also buying it for the looks and of just purely out of love for the products. So here is one of the fans, and look at that. Thermalright recessed. This is not even just printed, but it's actually recessed. A super premium touch. By the way, these are heavy. As soon as you pick these up, these are heavy. Like, everyone knows that 120mm fans are quite light. Like, you literally like pick them up with one finger, but this feels like I need to hold it with my own hand because it is like pretty heavy. And my first impression is, yeah, it's quality. You can hear that, almost sounds like metal, but it's thick plastic. These are 205 grams heavy. And I think that explains why they feel so heavy, because they are heavy. And to compare, to check, let me put this scale there. Oops, switch that on. $216. The box say 205, so I think the additional grams are from the cable. And let's do another comparison. Let's do one banana. 110. 215. Yeah, so 2 bananas, 215. This 216. So there you go, nice and premium. And look at this cable, it is braided, literally braided. Like I've never seen a braided fan cable, but this is what I mentioned previously, like the vibes matter, and they've really made an effort to not just make like a Noctua copycat that's really cheap, but they put thoughts into like making a genuine good and quality product. These here are plastic, not sure they are removable, but it seems to be removable, which is nice. So if you, for example, want to buy brown ones, let me try to rip one off, brown, green, or in any other color, it might be possible. So I don't know whether third-party ones would work or whether you need to buy Thermalright ones. And again, Thermalright over there, and the ball bearing, you can see it. It's quiet, smooth and quiet. Made me think of like rollerblades and stuff. But yeah, sorry for going into this in quite a lot of detail, but I know that some of you are quite curious about unboxing and what you actually get, which makes sense because you're spending your hard-earned money on these things. And what else is in the box? They kindly provide you with, this is to enable you to daisy chain multiple of these together. It's quite nice that this is included in the box, because if it doesn't come in the box, you might need to buy one separately. And it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but let's say you're like me, you've spent £2 on a fan, and then you go on Amazon and one of these is like £6. Then that's not great, is it? But they also include screws, and the screws are black, which is important because I have seen Arctic freezer fans that I think it's like the equivalent of these, but I've seen one of them that includes silver screws, which is a little bit naff if the fan itself is black. And then additionally, they've also added these screws so that you can attach these to an AIO. But actually, if you already have an AIO, you will have screws like this. But it's amazing that they have included them anyway, which is great because let's say you buy an AIO that's missing some screws, which is quite common. It's great to know that these are already included here. And then you have some additional bits here. I don't know what circumstances I would use these for, but maybe to leave like a larger gap between the fans and, you know, the case or AIO. And you also get some rubber feet as well, which is super nice. So that means that if you really want to minimize vibrations, then these are extra things that you can use. So overall, these screws and this, it's probably worth like £8 or something. And that's a lot. This is really a lot that's included. Super impressed. And the manual, we have it here. Again, they've repeated the specs, which is good. And they're showing you like the configuration for push or pull. And this is in, I think, is in Taiwanese or Chinese? I don't quite know. But yeah, this is it in there. So squeeze that back in. But overall, feels like a quality product. This is 205 grams, which is like more than double the Arctic freezer fans that are on the AIO. I believe they are like 85 grams. So super good impressions. Time to install the fans. And the first thing we need to do is to remove the existing ones. And this is my PC. It has an AMD Ryzen 5800X3D CPU. The GPU is an Nvidia RTX 4070 Ti Super, and this is a Fractal North design case. And the number of fans I have is that I have a top-mounted fan, an exhaust fan, and then I have 3 fans because my AIO is front-mounted. This PC case is so amazing to work with. All I need to do is to yank that off, and we can see the existing fans, the one that came with the AIO with the Arctic Freezer 3. As you can see, the design is kind of okay, but the silver doesn't really go with my aesthetics of black and brown or even the capybaras. And these fans have quite a big impact on the cooling in the PC overall, because they don't just cool the radiator and the water that circulates inside it to keep the CPU cool, but they also bring air into the case that's then used to cool the GPU as well. So therefore, upgrading these fans should have a meaningful impact on lowering the temperature in the PC for the CPU, GPU, but also making the computer quieter. So let's get started and remove these fans. I don't think I need to access the side, but I'm going to remove them anyway. Yeah, and that comes off quickly. Again, really beautiful case. It's not just looks good, but it's easy to work with. And there you can catch a glimpse of the internals. I'm also going to remove this side panel because that's probably where I've plugged in the fans into a fan hub. I don't quite remember, but I might as well make life easy for myself and allow myself as much access as possible. This shouldn't be a long job. Why isn't this coming off? Ugh. Oh yeah, I forgot one screw. Oh, that came off. Yeah, I just simply forgot to unscrew this bottom one. And I should unplug the PC as well. I forgot to do that. Safety first. And this is a kit that I keep in the house for unscrewing stuff from IKEA, really cheap, all self-contained. And I'm gonna do the top one first. I'm probably gonna do one fan at a time. Put these screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fans are daisy chained together. Oh, something is stuck there. Is it a washer? Don't know what this washer was used for, but I'll put it there. One big benefit of premium packaging is that it's usually very friendly for storing the components afterwards. So I'm probably going to keep these stored in my wardrobe. So I'm going to keep all this packaging. And a big bonus with these is that you have a compartment here for all the screws. That is super handy because then I can just take this out . Then everything that belongs to the Arctic freezer fans, I can just store it all in there to make sure that I don't misplace any screws. And just like that, everything is stored. And it means that when these are in the boxes, you're not going to have the screws potentially falling out of the gaps at the bottom or anything like that. And it also means that whilst I'm installing things, I keep everything neat. Small things that matter. Okay, so it already has a cable for daisy chaining. So the question is, do I want to use the braided ones or not? Let me use the braided ones anyway, because they came with the fans. But do I need it? Okay, I need to try to remember how I plugged it all in to keep it neat. Yes, that can go there. Because one issue is that the cables that come with this are really long. So I don't want to end up with too much excess dangling. Or in this case, maybe I should run these behind somewhere. Oh, actually, I can just keep it bunched up and stored neatly somewhere there. So, okay, what am I going to do first? Let me repeat what it looked like before. So this one, I'm almost feeling a bit clueless. You know what? Just to keep it simple, I'm just going to use the original daisy chaining cable. And then once everything is in place, I can always replace it with a braided one. That's a bit of a way to, and that can also be a way to approach these things, like do the installation first, and then once everything is working, do cable management or any improvements later. Now I've lost one screw. Yeah, an issue I'm encountering is that the Thermalright ones are a bit thicker than the Arctic Freezer ones, probably because of the rubber, but I want to keep the rubber, so I'm not going to take the rubber off. And this is why it's good to do one fan at a time rather than just removing them all and then not being able to fit things properly because you don't really remember how it all fit. Yep, the screws are in, so that fits in place. It doesn't actually matter that they're slightly thicker because as you can see, there's a lot of clearance between the front fascia and the fan itself. Actually, instead of just chatting and saying that there's a lot of clearance, let me actually test it. So I'm going to take this one here. Yeah, it fits. So that's a good confirmation. Now I know that the Thermalright fans 100% fits because as you can see, there is a bit of thickness here as well. And a couple of millimeters can be the difference between something fitting and something not fitting. And that's good, it's in place. So now I can proceed with removing fan number 2. I also want to say that I've not fully secured this yet because I want to give it a little bit of wiggle room in case I need to push it up and or push this one down. So I'm just keeping it a little bit loose and then I can tighten everything else later. Trying to dislodge this, keep that dangling. This one is easy. Off it comes and in it goes to the Thermalright box. Fan number 2 is in. There is a little bit of bulk here with the cable, so I need to have a think about cable management later and make it all work. Hence why, if you're planning on buying components, it's always good to check if there are videos by people who've used the same components in the same PC build as yourself, because there is a big difference in terms of things being easy to install, but also for components to fit, as well as all the cables having the right amount of length, but also being able to squeeze into tight spaces. Because actually with some builds, you may even want to plan the cable management way before you buy the component and also factor that into the installation, because cable management can sometimes be an afterthought. and it can be an afterthought to the extent that you might even need to take everything apart and rebuild from scratch because what you have purchased doesn't fit. Ooh, nice and cold. Premium. Right. And then lastly, before I install the final fan, you can see there's a bit of a guiding hole there for the cable to basically come out of, and you'll get the greatest length if this is orientated towards the components that you're going to plug it into. So for example, if you want this to have maximum reach towards the top of the case, make sure that it's facing upwards rather than downwards. But in this case, I don't really need to worry about length because it's going to plug into something over there. That's it. All the 3 fans are in. And the last thing to do is to connect the last one. But before I do that, I'm going to see whether I can replace this Y cable. Actually, I can't. So I'm going to use the original one. Tuck in, tuck, tuck, tuck. So the cables are tucked in. I might need to have another look at them in a couple of hours to make sure that they don't create any unnecessary vibration and noise. But I like the look of this. It's more industrial than these fans that have a big logo on it. Like some people like logos, others don't. But this is quite silver and it doesn't go with my build. So therefore I think I prefer this look. But I also believe that I could even put stickers on top of here if I want to conceal the ball bearings. But what's great about the look of the ball bearings is that it's showing you that there are premium parts in these fans. Like I'm not an expert on what a SFDB bearing V2 is, because there's a lot of people online who are much more clued up about bearings and airflow and lubrication, but this industrial look works with my PC. And the next step we should do is to tidy up and put the fan cover back on. So I've not really had to change much in my PC, so it's been quite an easy installation, and it's all in place. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Super.